Hello and welcome to Inside the Lines. Today you have me and Steven running the show without Mackenzie. I'm just going to go ahead and add him in, and no need to do the formal introductions today.
Yeah.
A lot of baseball, and some NBA. Hopefully, we're talking just before we started, saying that hopefully Minnesota could get one game, or else we're just going to have a week of just baseball, which I won't complain too much about, but could be a little boring in the sports world.
Well, we'll put Mackenzie to work with. First of all, good to see you got dressed for the occasion as the host.
Yes, this is the formal host.
Remind me to put that in your next review. Unless there's a, I guess that's the goal, right? You want to resonate with the younger.
Exactly. I got a backwards hat. Gotta look cool for all the younger listeners.
Yeah.
But we're gonna start off with some Dinger Tuesday best bets. I'll share my screen. Open up the best bets for today. And so we are going back to Kyle Tucker. Kyle Tucker was good to us last week when what were we, plus 12 units on our 5 Dinger Tuesday plays.
Yeah, so, on yours. Yeah, take credit.
Yeah, so 3 for 5 plus 12 units. And then, of course, Pete Alonso homer the next day. But we like this matchup against Seattle. I mean, Seattle's pitching is pretty good, but Tucker's been really good, especially against right-handed pitchers. So we're going with Tucker to start. Then we're going to go with Marcell Ozuna from the Braves. We have Ozuna at plus 279, and most books have him around like plus 280, but BetMGM is at plus 325, so you're actually getting some value there. Then we're going back to our guy Gunnar Henderson, Mackenzie's favorite player, and we are going with Gunnar at plus 475 on Fanatics. He has a pretty much big range of numbers. I think his lowest is like plus 350 all the way up to plus 475. We have him at plus 288. So anyway, there's value pretty much all around there. I'm surprised that his line's at plus 475, considered he's second in the major with 17 home runs, right behind our guy Kyle Tucker. So that was an interesting line. I think there's plenty of value there. Going to Josh Naylor again. I think he was one of the 5 last week that hit for us. He's playing in Colorado, so we love that Colorado altitude. He's at plus 315 in our model, plus 500 on Bet Rivers, so we like that. And then we are going with Bryce Harper plus 425. Got to put a Philly for Mackenzie with her gone. Bryce Harper is at plus 341 in the model, plus 425 on BetMGM. So not a ton of model value, but those are our 5 Dinger Tuesday plays. Hopefully it's somewhat in the positive, because we can't expect another plus 12 units. Maybe just one hits today and we're positive. If Bryce Harper hits.
If you can go 2 of 3, that'd be awesome, right?
Yeah.
Hey, do you want to share my screen for a second, Jake? I want to show the audience what I'm working on. This is a new view I'm trying to do, which basically reviews every game in a single Google sheet, and then highlights. So doesn't have the best price for each of the player prop lines. It has lines that we're getting from a feed from the Sportsline data team, which is questionably, I'm not sure when it's updated, and I'm not sure what the source is. But so what's going to allow me to do, especially when Jake is on vacation and you're left with my baseball expertise, is to search by people's, players' names, because let's just say, for the sake of argument, I don't know what every player plays for, and if it was before 1991, I'd be right there. But unfortunately, it's 30 years past my prime. But what you can see is for Kyle Tucker, the first Dinger Tuesday, we do have value there. It shows, but then it also shows the top 6 projected hits, runs, and RBI player for every, and then for that player of his other prop lines, what's the best value we have on that board, non-home run in this case. So example for Tucker, we have 2.1 total bases. So at plus 110 or better, presumably if you go to OzJam, probably get a better price. We would also recommend that. So we're going to be using this sheet, testing it out over the summer for baseball, spreading it out to other leagues as well. It makes it easier for me to find players rather than go back and forth in the database.
So let's do a little live test because I do have a couple of hits, runs, RBI plays today.
All right.
Let's go Yelich over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. There you go, 2.36.
And so the feed that we get directly from the Sportsline data team doesn't actually include the hits, runs, and RBI prop line, interestingly enough. So we can use the number here, 2.36, as the way to get a good value. But we also love over his total bases at plus 133 because we have 1.7 projected versus over 1.5.
Awesome. So I'll go back to my screen, but that's really cool. Some really cool data Steven's been working on. And then I also wanted to go with stolen bases today. We don't really go over stolen bases often, but we have slight value on 2 plays. Bobby Witt Jr. at plus 220 on FanDuel. He's another guy who, so if you get him at plus 180, we wouldn't say there's model value, but plus 220 on FanDuel, there is model value there. And Jose Caballero, we're going back to that. I think he hit for us once, and then like the other 4 times he hasn't hit for us, but still model value on the at plus 270 on Bet Rivers. I think it's between plus 250 and plus 270 is where his line lies today. And I'll go ahead and share my screen on Swish Analytics, but this is what I like to look at in terms of stolen base opportunities. Let me pull it up. Stolen base targets. And there you go. So this page on Swish Analytics tells you who is a good opportunity to steal a base against. So you see Bobby Witt Jr. against Simeon Woods Richardson. He's only allowed 3 stolen bases in the last 2 seasons because Woods Richardson's a rookie.
I don't see your screen. I don't think it's sharing.
Oh, you don't see my screen?
No.
Let's see. Oh, this is why. There we go. So Bobby Witt Jr. versus Simeon Woods Richardson. Woods Richardson's only allowed 3 stolen bases, but his rate of stolen bases allowed per innings pitch is pretty high because he's a rookie. So Witt is a good target against Simeon Woods Richardson, and we have model value. And then you go down to Caballero versus Mitch Spence. Again, only 3, but he's also a rookie. So his stolen base per innings pitch is high, and the success rate's pretty high. So again, that's what I like to look at and to also add the model into it. Let's go to a play on a game. Going with St. Louis, Cincinnati under 9.5. Let me share the screen again. Now I know all the work that Mackenzie complains about. It's not easy sharing the screen, sharing the screen. But I guess she doesn't have to pull the model at the same time. So I'll give her that. Then we go back to the model.
Yeah.
St. Louis, Cincinnati under 9.5. Let's see. The thing that's
too.
Yeah,
it was almost even money earlier in the day, and now it's pretty significant minus money in our consensus.
Yeah, it was minus 110 consensus. You get some minus 105s out there even, but I'm surprised with this pitching matchup. 2 players with sub 4 ERAs that the line is where it's at. I think Abbott has a sub 3 ERA. So I was looking at some Abbott lines. I was thinking maybe to parlay into this, Abbott under 2.5 earned runs. We have him at 2.49. And then some books have plus money on that under. So I don't mind that play. And then the old tool that Steven had on the trends that we used before all the fancy stuff is the under and Abbott starts is 7-2-1, and the under is 5-3-2, and Kyle Gibson starts. So both of those play this, especially with the 9.5 lines. It isn't great America, small park, so that is a bit scary. But I like that play a lot. And I think we have 2 more MLB plays. We have Isaac Paredes over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. We have him projected for 2.1. This is another one where we like the matchup, and it's at minus 105. I like the value being there against Mitch Spence. Like we said, he's a rookie, so he doesn't have too much data, but I really like this play. I think Paredes has like a 910 or 950 OPS against right-handed pitchers, so he's been really good, especially for a right-handed batter against right-handed pitching. So I like that play right there. And the last one is what we already showed you. The Christian Yelich over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. We have him projected for 2.4. I like me some Yelich props, so I'm just going to go back. I think we're 2-1 on Yelich props, and hopefully we're 3-1. And then I'm not going to share the college baseball screen, but I'll give you some of my college baseball futures that we have. We have Georgia in honor of Mackenzie to win their regional at minus 115. These are all DraftKings props. All the lines are DraftKings. Usually Bet Rivers will post some, FanDuel will post some, but the Odds Jam screen only had DK, so we're rocking with DK right now. Maybe tomorrow there'll be some more. So Georgia to win the regional minus 115. Georgia Tech's in that regional, which scares me a bit, but Georgia, I kind of like that they went one and out in their SEC tournament, like losing to LSU, because they saved their pitching. And a couple of guys I do some college baseball work with have put together all the successes of SEC teams who go one and done in the SEC tournament and host. They do a lot better than the teams that go further. Texas A&M minus 140 to win that regional. Texas a little scary. They got hot towards the end of the year. I still think Texas A&M is my pick to win the College World Series. It all depends if Ryan Prager's pitching well, because their pitching depth scares me a little bit. But I think Texas A&M top to bottom has the best lineup in college baseball, even more than Tennessee. But Tennessee probably has the better pitching depth. Oregon State to win their regional at plus money. I think they're 24-2 at home this season. The model loves Oregon State when they're at home. They're at plus money. It's simple enough. Got to go with them. Fading happiness here with Oklahoma State to win the regional. The Gators made the tournament, and they're in this regional. But Oklahoma State, another team, plus money to win their home regional. I like that. They're playing really good baseball lately. Nebraska has really good pitching, but they play the Gators in the first game, so they're going to have to pitch their ace in game one. Oklahoma State should fare pretty well in their first game, and I like the matchup with whoever they have to play between the Gators and Nebraska in game two. I wouldn't be surprised if they play it goes to 4 games and they have to go 3-1, but I think Oklahoma State's the best team in this regional. NC State to win their regional. This is where the stats about SEC teams going far kind of hurts them. South Carolina is in this regional. They're actually the favorite at NC State's regional, but South Carolina went to the SEC championship game. They used all their pitching, or they went to the semifinals. They went really far. They didn't go to the championship game, but they kind of run out of pitching. NC State's at plus 125 here at their home regional. I like that. Everyone's favorite pick in the ECU regional is Wake Forest, but Wake Forest is minus 115. East Carolina is plus 170 to win their home regional. Wake Forest has Chase Burns, the best pitcher in the country, but if Burns goes in game one or he doesn't go in game one, then Wake Forest might lose. Wake Forest is 10-11 on the road this season. I don't understand why they're minus 115 to win a regional at ECU, who's I think 20-4 at home this season. So this is just a value play at home at plus 170. And the last college baseball prop of the day is Dallas Baptist to win the Arizona regional. I had to pick one team who was an away team to win a regional, and I went with Dallas Baptist. The Arizona Tucson regional is kind of a mess because there's 4 really good teams. Any of the 4 teams can win. I think Dallas Baptist is playing really good baseball. They just beat La Tech in the conference championship. So we're going with Dallas Baptist at plus 175. I like the value there. And let's go to NBA. And while we do NBA, I will answer all these questions in the chat.
Yeah.
There we go. And
cool. Well, that was quite the monologue, Jake.
I know. I'm going to have to drink some water and so I can.
Yeah, I tried not to type too much of my noisy keyboard, so I couldn't answer all the questions, but I tried. Minnesota, Dallas, again, the interesting thing about this line, it went from Dallas -3.5 to -1.5, I think, because Lively was ruled out. And also there's a general feeling that Minnesota can't be a team that beat Denver and then gets swept. But I think the line more has to do with Lively because the plus minus with him in the lineup has been so significant. So his absence plays into a lot of my picks that I like for this game. Daniel Gafford over 20.5 points, rebounds, and assists. The model has closer to 23. In the 8 games when they were both on when Gafford was traded to Dallas in the regular season, his PRA was 19.6 in just 23 minutes in those games without Lively. So really high productive per minute. And if he has that kind of pace in the 30 minutes that we're expecting, then he should easily go over on this. So the season trend doesn't really apply when you consider who isn't there right now. I also like Derek. What's that? You like that?
I like that play. I've been playing Gafford, and even though he had a terrible game last night, I think I'm going back to him again.
And he had at least he had like a redeeming moment late, right? He
exactly. Yeah.
And then he was on the first game. Yeah.
Awesome dunks make up for losing the PRA. So I'll give him.
He's getting his blocks, and he had the post-game interview on TNT, so that made him feel good. Derek Jones Jr. over 13.5 points and rebounds. The model has a 15. I think there is going to be a, kind of everyone's got to pick up the slack with Lively not there to rebound. He does have a much higher average at three more points and rebounds at home this year than versus the road. I think there's some buy low value with the fact that he has come under this in the first 3 games, but he snapped out of an 0-5 3-point slump in Minnesota, and it was 3 for 3 in game 3. So his outside shot seems to be back, and again, I think he's going to be active on the boards. The biggest thing is, again, hoping with major minutes that his athleticism is obviously essential as far as helping on defense against Minnesota. So 23 and 11 over when he has at least 28 minutes. Kyrie Irving over 2.5 made threes, plus 106 on Bet Rivers. So I always look for these overs on plus money overs on a line that's under a guy's season average. He averages 2.9 for the season, 3.1 at home. So he's obviously in a nice groove right now. He's hit 3 and 4 makes the last 2 games. I'm not sure why the number. I was surprised to see this line as low as it is. He had a recent stretch of 5 out of 6 unders, but that was against OKC. He's very, very strong home trend. Good average against Minnesota. Jaden McDaniels over 1.5 blocks and steals. Model doesn't have huge value on this. We have 1.7, which is obviously over, but you could argue at -133, it's not a good price. I'm kind of just going on my own instinct on this one. I'm backing his strong last month, so it's basically the playoffs, right? He's 2.2 average with an 8 and 3 over. I think that he had a great offensive game. Was it 1, I believe? But
1 and 2, right?
I think they need him to, besides hitting wide open threes, they really need him to, on his defense. He's the only one who's kind of will have the energy. When Ant tries to lock up Kyrie and lead the team in scoring, he seems to be exhausted. Mm-hmm. So they need McDaniel to really come in as the defensive. No one's going to stop Luka, but try to get Luka to score 30 on 26 shots. And not 38 on 26 shots. So I think with his focus on defense and also maybe with less Gobert, because he doesn't really have a good defensive matchup in this series, that McDaniels get more major minutes, that he'll look for more blocks and steals to try to get some transition easy baskets, as opposed to just playing good position defense.
So my favorite play in the playoffs had been McDaniels over like 2.5 or 3.5 rebounds, and if I went at 4.5, I'm like, this line's way too high. And then I it last time, but there's a good chance he ends up with exactly 4 rebounds. So if you want to play over 3.5 and under 4.5, I think there's a good chance that exactly 4 hits.
What are the lines for those? What's the best lines? What are the best lines for the under and the best lines for the over? Let's see if we can dig that up. Because you obviously would want to pin two books against each other.
Exactly. Rebounds. But yeah, that's what I it's weird because I faded my favorite play of the postseason there, and it hit. So I kind of liked doing that. But
can you bet, places like exactly 4? I guess it's probably not.
Probably not. Maybe in some weird offshore books you could bet that, but
yeah.
I know the major
So
books don't have that.
his rebounds over is -140, over 3.5 at -142 on FanDuel, under 44.5, -152. It's a little dangerous, right?
Yeah, a little dangerous
to try to get there, but still fun.
-145 on DK and then 4.5. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's a little too close. If you could get plus money on one side, I'd really like that. But
over 4.5 at +126 and under 3.5 at +115. What if you said you could have very few or a lot? It's like, so you bet again. You're fading 3 and 4, or you're fading. No, you're fading 4.
Fading 4.
Yeah, I think I'd like that. I think over 4.5, you get +135 on BetMGM. Under 3.5, you can get +115 on Fanatics. That sounds like an intriguing, a non-4.
Based on how the series has gone, you think he's going to have to play 40 minutes this game, and especially guarding Luka a lot.
Non-4 sounds like a good bet.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know. Call me crazy. I like it. I like non-4, but all right. Anyway, move on. Karl-Anthony Towns. This is he's playing like trash. I can't repeat the names I've called him in my privacy of my own home. But I figured my kids can learn some curse words now that they turned 13 because it's been pretty bad. Model still has him close to 2 makes. Nothing's going to get this guy to become like a true low post player. He's gonna, his 2s are usually on drives where he's just flailing out of control and throwing his arms in the air. But I still think he's going to take at least 6 threes, and eventually he's got to break out of this 4 out of 32. He's too good a shooter to continue shooting this bad. So I think 2 out of 6. It seems like again, 6 3-point attempts would be low for him probably. And, eventually he's got to make a third of his threes. I think Gafford is a very good shot blocker, so I don't think it's going to work where, let's just post up Karl-Anthony Towns, especially with the 3-point production that Dallas gets. You can't go 2 for 3. You can't be scoring 2s versus Dallas's 3s. So this is, again, it's steep price -180, but it's well under his season average. He averages more on the road, 2.2.
Would you maybe sprinkle over 2.5 of plus money just because he can't get any worse and he needs to make his threes? It's do or die game.
You would, yeah, I think so. What's the best plus money? At this point, what's the best plus money you can get on him for over 3s?
NBA 3s. There, you could get 2.5. I just see one that every book pretty much has the line set at 1. 2.5 is around +150 on some.
Yeah, that sounds. Yeah, I think I would take that over paying -180 and over 180.
-180. That's what I think too. Especially
and -180 is good. I think most like -200. So I like over 2.5.
He can't get any worse. But can he?
Yeah.
I don't know.
This is I mean, like I can't be more down on the guy. So I guess that's my figure. I've hit my floor of expectations already. So I don't have any more curse words that I could call him. Kyle Anderson over 5.5 rebounds and assists. I love this one because he's been playing well. I do think that Gobert can have a reduced role. Kyle Anderson can essentially play power forward on a small lineup. His average is really strong on the road this season, and he doesn't have to play. It's not like I'm expecting him to play 30 minutes. I looked at just the games where he played 20 to 25 minutes, just where I have him pegged, given how he's been playing offensively. And the over is 21 and 6 in that sweet spot. So he doesn't have to be 30 to get 6 rebounds and assists.
Yeah, so he's gone. He had the one game this series that he did go 20 minutes. He got 10.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he hasn't been his damage has been offensively, so that should earn him the minutes that will result in the rebounds and assists. That again, he averages all season long. This is not some kind of weird, increased production per minute thing.
What about Anthony Edwards triple double plus 2,400? Let's see the math skills here.
Yeah, I don't know. We don't have, I think that his rebounds and assists have been high. I'm just thinking that this is the game where you shoot 30 times.
Yeah.
Save it all.
I wonder where you get his ladder 40+ points at. That's probably where I would go instead of a triple double if you're trying to go for a big plus money play. I'd probably go because he's going to have to shoot the ball. I mean, he said before in the pregame interview, I'm going to be jacking the ball up every single possession. And he shot the ball 24 times, 11 of 24, and didn't even hit his over 26.5.
Yeah.
And so if you set up before game 3, he's going to have to shoot the ball 30 times in this game. You'd like to think.
Well, if we want him to have a massive game, I should fade him like Andrew Nembhard, and then he'll do the Nembhard response, which is just like just crush it. But thank God I had I was kind of hoping the Pacers would win to extend the series, but I have to admit when Derek White hit that 3 to get 16 points because I had over 15.5, that critical 3 in the corner because he was like 1 for 8, I think, from 3 at that point. That was a kind of a lifesaver. Salvaged the day from what could have been a bad 1-4 to a not so bad 2-3.
So Anthony Edwards is interesting. 35+ points is plus 330, then 40+ is plus 1,000. I feel like if he hits 35+, he's going to hit 40+. So
especially at that.
Exactly, with the price there. Might as well. I mean, if you want to play an big plus money line, I would play 40+ points at plus 1,000 over the triple double, just because he's already hit that like 3 times in the postseason. I'm not sure if he has a triple double at all this season.
No, it doesn't look like it.
It doesn't look like it. So I think that's more. Yeah, look, there's 3 40+ games this postseason.
He's not a triple double guy. Yeah, I'm going to do that right now once I get off this.
I think that's the way to go about Ant having a big game. All right. Unfortunately, we do not have fancy graphics like recaps because Mackenzie's not here. But I appreciate everyone who tuned in today. And I need to find the outro, and here we go.